G'day everybody, my name is Lukey and I'm a Streamaholic.
G'day everybody, my name's the Warship and I'm a Streamaholic.
G'day. Hello. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Streamaholics episode 5. We're already in the 5th week, Chippy.
It's so good. It's so good. It feels like we've been doing it for a lot longer, but 5 is good. 5 is a real good number to be at right now.
Yeah, we're flying along. So,
absolutely.
How you going, everybody? My name is Lukey, and this is Streamaholics, where we talk about all things streaming and content creation. And beside me, if you didn't know already, is the Warship, aka Shippy. Hope you're having a good week, mate. Ready to get stuck in?
Yeah, mate, having a real good week, actually. Sorry, my head is, I just can't get the hat right today. I don't know what it is. But yeah, no, having a good one. Having a really, really strong week today. So it's the end of the week for me. This is the last thing I do before I have a couple of days to myself. So yeah, feeling real good today.
Yeah, I'm a bit under the weather. Fridays I've been looking forward to. Friday's become my favourite day of the week because the podcast's been really good. But I've just been getting over the cold or something like that. Just a bit of a tickle this week.
Better stay away. You know, we don't want to go into any further lockdowns here, my friend. I think
I'll just stay right up here and stay right away from the city. I think it came back to bite me on the butt earlier in the week. I made some tongue-in-cheek comments about Perth and keeping their germs to themselves, and of course Karma came around and bit me in the ass.
Nah. Well, you know, at the end of the day, I'm sure you'll be okay. I'm sure it's not what we said, you know, that's just the old bants, but at the end of the day, you know, you're best to get yourself rested and make sure you're all good. But thank you for sticking around for this, you know, coming in and doing this, because yeah, I couldn't imagine my Friday without it at the moment. So
no, I wouldn't miss it for the world. It's been good stuff. It's been a good start, guys. We started also with some questions on Twitter and Discord today, and if you've been a part of those conversations, they just they took on a life of their own. It's kind of like Streamaholics for me today started at like whenever it was I put the question out to the Discord this morning. It's been like a bit of a pre-show bants already, so I've been trying to hold my opinions back as much as possible. So really looking forward to getting into some stuff with you guys too, and I think Shippy's put the call out on his Twitter as well and's got some questions for us, so we should have a full action-packed show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I think that is really cool about what we do is that we just simply don't talk until literally like 15 minutes before the thing, before we start here. And that lets us kind of, you know, not sit here and just giggle and, you know, go through our whole list of things and then have nothing to say on Streamaholics. So yeah, it's good to be able to just get in and go from there.
For sure. All right, so I think we'll start off. We'll go with there's a couple of Discord questions that everyone's been discussing quite a bit in the Legends Club today. I should have brought this up to start with. I have
Maybe we should wind it back to the topic of the day. So the topic of the day is what can Twitch do to help smaller creators, and other conversations. But we are going to focus around what Twitch can do as a whole to support to support the smaller streamers. You know, things like grassroots and the creator focus and things like that, and what else they can do to really push that forward. So. Yeah, we've got some questions to go through as Lukey is now hopefully has found them.
Yeah, I have found them. I'll read the questions out, but they're basically, if we just focus on the idea of what can Twitch do to help smaller creators, it basically covers both of them. But we had questions from mainly from Gamma and Ravensky in the Discord. Gamma's question: what do you guys think of Twitch ANZ grassroots program? It's something that has been going on for ages, and do you think it's worth signing up for as an affiliate? So maybe we'll just start there. What are your thoughts on that? Shippy, ANZ grassroots.
Well, I just got knocked back for it. So I just applied for it myself. I had my community apply for it as well. Honestly, grassroots is weird to me because yes, it's a great opportunity if you get in, but the way that we get in is kind of ham-fisted because it's like, yeah, you can get into grassroots. You just have to get your community who already dedicate a buttload of time to you, a whole heap of time to you. You have to get your community to fill out a form. And it's like, It's not just like, oh, you know, who is it and what do they do? It's their email address as well. And then you have to kind of give a reason as to why you want them in there. Now, that's a really good way to get some impassioned result, you know, like some really passionate reviews. But the community isn't going to do that overall. You know, some people, like the real good hangers on, they'll be like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's get a good review for Shippy. And I'll tell him all the cool stuff he does. But overall, it's not something that's really going to be a huge focus. I think that having maybe a much more simpler form might be the way to go. Or even just like, I don't know, something easier. Just like if you want them to apply for Grassroots, push a button on their Twitch channel, you know, so that you can say, right, guys, what's going on? I'm going to be applying for Grassroots this year. There is a button in the description below. If you click that button, it will automatically get you or get me a vote towards Grassroots. And that way, you know, you can let that speak for itself. The way it is here is that it really does. It rewards people who have either very loyal communities or it rewards people who badger their community. And both situations, that they're not really showcasing what a good creator can be, you know, because it's just people saying, yo, quick, go fill the thing out. Have you filled the thing out yet, guys? By the way, if you filled, you know, it's not giving any kind of merit to you as a creator. It's you as how much you can nag, or you for how much your community wants to nag for you. I just don't think that's particularly the right way to go about it. What are your thoughts?
So the Grassroots is a funny thing for me. I think it's I'm not actually sure it's for like small creators. I think it's more for people that are already starting to gain some momentum, and maybe a way to get them kind of to push them over the top. Maybe I feel like Twitch might be focusing more on people that might be close to getting partner. So that if they can help somebody get through the Grassroots program, then they can say, oh, these people made partner through the Grassroots, but they may have been well and truly on their way there anyway. What I would say to that, if you're, as a creator, if you're thinking about applying for things like Grassroots, I think it doesn't hurt to go for it, and just feel good in yourself that you have a community that's going to go and vouch for you and put your name up for those sort of programs. But don't worry about if you don't get it or you don't get into the next round or whatever, because I don't think it's a reflection on anybody's content at all.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I don't think it's a reflection, and yeah, I don't think you should worry about it too much. It shouldn't be the way that you choose to grow, because if you're doing the right things and you're creating good content that people find value in, I think that there's going to be other ways that you're going to grow anyway. It can be a nice little bump if you do happen to get through, but just don't go into it with the expectation that you're going to get through, because it is for, like you're saying, like a certain type of creator that's going to be more inclined to do certain things to get through. Not illegal things.
I mean, like
just the bad.
Yeah, of course. But no, I do think that you're right there. And, you know, in saying that, I think we can provide a good message, because as it stands right now, I'm kind of everything they want when it comes to this Grassroots program. You know, like I'm pushing, I think my current average is 79. I'm pushing 96 or something on my weekly average at the moment. So we're kind of really getting towards that level now. And even I didn't get into it. You know what I mean? Like they're surely watching that. They've surely seen that, and they're like, okay, well, there's a guy here who's close. But so what I'm saying is that if you didn't get in, don't feel like you've done something wrong. I mean, don't feel like you've broken anything or that you're bad at what you do, because even someone who's got like really close to doing all this, even I didn't get through. So it's not like I'm saying I'm better than anyone else or anything like that either. Please don't take it that way. It's more so me saying that, like, yes, absolutely apply, and if you get in, awesome, but don't be discouraged yourself. Like, it's not a reflection on you. You've done nothing wrong if you don't get in, and that's how I'm taking it as well.
Good stuff.
All it did for me was motivate me. All it did for me was put a firecracker right all the way up my ass, because I'm like, all right, now I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what happens if you don't. And that's a positive attitude to take from it as well. You know, use that fire to fuel the next thing you do, your next steps in the right direction. Because stuff. Like, it is a good option for small streamers. It really, really is. But at the same time, it's for a very select few. So don't put all your eggs in that basket.
Definitely not. I think using that as motivation for your own content after that's a good way to take it. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
The next question we had from Raven Sky, which kind of ties into it in a similar sort of way. Do you think that Twitch should try investing in smaller streams? Those who have consistency but struggle to make numbers, give them community challenges for growth, or show them on the front screen with things like hype trains. I get Twitch as a business, but I think it could go a long way if they focus on people who are on the lower end.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't have, on Twitch, it separates itself. It's got that big stupid bit at the very top that has the swivel between the best, most active creators, and then it has recommended or channels you might like, and then it has another set of channels below it. There's no reason that bottom set of channels couldn't be like under 20 active views, community focus. Like there's no reason why that couldn't be like a section of just a completely random within your area, because I know they do that, because I've had so many people say, I just saw you on recommended, I've come in, I'm from Perth. So I know that they do that locally anyway, like they do work within localization. So there's no reason why you couldn't add that set of localization in and just let that ticker run out. It doesn't have to be 20. It doesn't have to be 20. You can just scroll to the end, wait a few seconds, scroll to the end, wait a few seconds, and just have a full-on section there. It doesn't have to be everybody, but just have, those channels that are under 20 and then done. Or you could even categorize them. You could have like, there's no reason the page can't go down further. You could have, shooters under 20. You could have story under 20, whatever it might be, just chatting under 20. And you could just run that. And that's a solution for that situation. Obviously, it's not an ideal one, but the reality is there's 15 million people on the platform. So you're going to struggle to find a way to give everybody something. Yeah, exactly right. No, exactly right there. Like the thing is that when it comes to viewership, not everyone wants to sit there and watch someone with hundreds and hundreds of people in their stream. And I full on understand that, because for me, when I speak to my community, at the moment, I'm not struggling. I managed to see everything, and I managed to talk to every single person who's going on at the time, and respond to all the messages. But no one wants to be in a stream with 2,000 people in there watching, and the streamer just does the low energy thing. They just sit there and they just play their game, and they don't talk to anyone, and that's it. Like that's obviously it's a niche, because some people will eventually just go there for the game. But if you're coming in to hang out with me, you don't want to see me doing this. Like, you don't want to see me sitting here and just looking at my screen and just. You don't want that, and then the ticker's going with like hundreds and hundreds of people talking at the same time, and to me, that's not what I go to Twitch for. So I never want to be the kind of streamer that does that personally. But I can definitely understand the appeal to it. It's just, I think that the people who go to watch smaller streamers go to have that conversation. They go to have that interaction. And I think that's really, really important. So that's just my opinion.
No, I think we talked about it the other week. I think I said something similar, like having the recommended just up higher in the depends on where you watch it too. Like, I watch mine on the Apple TV app, because I like to sit down on my couch and watch Twitch at nighttime when I'm flicking through the different apps. So I'll go to that one, and that's got all your followers, the ones that you're following on a wheel at the top, and then it's got games that I follow for some reason. I don't really go into those. The recommended's down the bottom, but I often go down to once I have a look at who I know and who I'm following is online. I might drop into a couple of those streams, but I'm often lurking because I'm sitting on the couch. I can't usually bother getting my phone out to go chat sometimes, but I'll go down to my recommended settings a lot, because I like trying to find new people. So if that was better visibility and was up the top, I think it would be more beneficial to people, the smaller creators. But at the end of the day, I think Twitch is trying to do different things to create better. Suggest the algorithm. They're trying to get better at the algorithm. They don't have the sorts of algorithms that other platforms have, so I think they're trying to get better at that. And I think that's what we talked about with all the extra tags that they're doing at the moment, because it's very hard when you've got a platform that is only like live streams, and people aren't doing other things on that actual platform to try and gauge what your actual interests are. So the only interest that Twitch has got to go off is, what other streams do you watch? What other streams are you following? And so the only things that the algorithms, I'm guessing, has to go off is the game you're playing, maybe the area that you're in, mainly, which to me seems to be just Australia for a lot of the times, but and the tags of the people that you're following and spending time watching a good amount of. I'm assuming that the algorithm's picking up on that. So the fact that there was like however many more hundreds of tags that were added the other week, if people are using their tags right, there's an opportunity to find tags that other people aren't using as much, not popular tags. So you could have a few popular tags, because you're allowed like 5 or 6, aren't you? So you could have a couple of popular tags in there, but make sure you've got some really niche ones that really explain what you are in sort of a niche way, because then people that are watching lots of streams within those niches, you've probably got a lot more chance of popping up in their recommended then. So I think Twitch is trying to do more for the smaller creators, but at the end of the day, like I said, 15 million creators on there, and we're just talking about it in this Discord today. If you've got over 5 concurrent viewers on average, you're in the top 6% of Twitch. And if you've got over 50 CCV average, you're in the top 1% of Twitch. So 94% of those 15 million people are all sitting at below 5. So even if they do have really brilliant recommended sections and a better algorithm, it's slightly better for everyone, but you really have to take fate, I think, into your own hands rather than relying on Twitch to do something for you, because there's too many people on Twitch for Twitch to be able to cater to all the small streamers, or even some of them.
Well, I even struggle. Like I continually do. I'm not saying that I'm like this amazing streamer or anything like that, but I definitely struggle a lot with this. Like I'm like, well, why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing that? I constantly doubt everything that I'm doing. I'm like, but I do good things. I do, even with all the stupid memes and all the dumb content that I do and all that stuff. Like you have to have something more. You have to have a hook. So people not even coming in with that original hook of like having a decent camera or having a good setup, whatever it may be. If you don't have that hook, you're already below that point. You know what I mean? Like, so you've got to work so much harder to get from there to the next point to then go, oh well, shit, I don't have the next hook. Like, and then when you get to that point, then that's when a lot of people will fall away, because that's where a lot of people will get to that point and they're like, well, I just can't do it then. And you see a lot of people quit in that situation, and that's really, really unfortunate. But when people get to that point and they're like, well, how do I grow from here? It's practically impossible. It's because they've taken so long to get from point A to point B, never realizing that there's a point C through F. Like never realizing there's got so much left to do. That's why for me, my content is not just the stream. I'm also working on the YouTube, working on the podcasting. We're doing a few IRL things in the very, very near future, because it's not all just about Twitch. There's so much more outside of Twitch to make it successful here on Twitch. And I believe, honestly, as it stands right now, I'm actually sitting in that higher bracket as far as my like the top percentages of people on Twitch. But I still feel like the smallest fish, like the absolute smallest fish in the ocean. And like going back to a point from the chat there, it's exhausting trying to put your messages in chat, and the only ones that's seen are the ones that are paid for through bits or highlighted. That's an absolute thing that I hate. I've subscribed to big streamers. I have subscribed to some fairly large streamers, guys. Not even the biggest guys. I'm talking guys like Brad Woto, who used to be PewDiePie's editor. Like I subscribed to him one time, and he didn't even notice the subscription go off. Like those things. You're like, yes, you don't have to notice. You don't have to notice. But if someone subscribes to me on my channel, you guys have seen it, my face stops. Like, it really, really does. It completely melts, and I have to stop and take a moment. Even when people follow me, every time my alerts pop off, there's always that element where I'm like, because it's honestly, it's super, super important, and I really, really am so thankful for it. And it's just, I don't ever want to lose that as a creator. Like, I really, really don't want to ever lose that as a creator. But I know that a lot of people do lose that as a creator. So
it's going to be interesting. Like I'm sure that you're well on your way, and I hope you do get there. But it's going to be interesting to see. I've always wondered what it'd be like going from that stage, like where you're at right now, to all of a sudden having maybe 200 or 300 people there, and the chat's moving. What's that, like 3 times as fast as what it is right now? That's going to be a challenge. Is that when you go to slow mode? I don't know much about slow mode. Is that just slow down the chat?
Yeah. I mean, slow mode's used by moderators when they see the streamer struggling. If they see the streamer going, I missed your chat, sorry, I'll get back to you. When they notice that, they pop it in slow mode. And it just restricts how much you can post. And it allows for, to catch up and chat. I've only had to use it probably once or twice, but even in those examples, they were from very big raids. Like there was one from the Very Polite Gamer, who's Mark Bonanno from Auntie Donna's.
Oh yeah.
That one came through, and there's a few hundred in that, and I just lost my mind. I just wasn't able to speak. And that was way back though, like way back. But I'm saying, like, as far as like, it's hard to keep the engagement up and the conversation when you sort of hit those numbers. But I think it's really important to stop and go backwards anyway. You know what I mean? Like say, look, guys, I'm not going to derail what we're doing entirely by reading all of the things, but I'm going to go back and check like the important messages that people want to speak to me about and move forward from there. Yeah. Because I think that's super important. And
I guess
and like, you know, there's. Sorry, you go.
Oh no, sorry. I was just going to say, I guess that comes when you start getting to those sort of sizes, it probably comes down to the community as well, where you have like an active, which you do, like an active moderation team that can make sure that they're getting on top of comments that you're missing, and making sure that they're reassuring your viewers that you know, you're actually there and you are listening and you are trying to get to everything, but it's pretty hectic. So that's where the community comes in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, and there are times where mods will straight up answer questions for me. So someone will say, like, you know, hey, what's going on with that? What's with all the hats you've got on? Why are you doing a vortex right now? Whatever the question might be. And then one of the mods will say, oh yeah, he's doing that because the Beers song is on, or whatever the case may be. Like they will answer the question for me. And that does help a lot too. But at the end of the day, if anyone's going to subscribe or send bits or follow, I'm taking a second just to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much for the sub, whatever it may be. And I think everyone should do that. I really, really do. Because like you don't feel smaller. There's almost nothing that makes you feel smaller in Twitch than giving money to someone and they just simply don't give a about it at all. Like there's nothing that makes you feel less important to a streamer than donating anything to them, and they just seem to just go, that's fine, like, and just go on with their day. Like that's a horrible feeling. So yeah, like honestly, like I think we've got off track a little bit. But
we were talking about how Twitch can help with small streamers, but that.
But to get back to the point, I suppose, when it comes to small time, like the smallest streamers, not being like focusing now on not becoming one of those people one day is probably a good way to frame your own success. And I think that's really important to think about too, is that yes, Twitch is there, but no, they're not there to help. They're really not. They do support where they can, but it's like asking God for a new phone. Like with all the millions and millions and billions of voices that are going up there asking for a new phone, you're just not going to get a new phone. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with Twitch. Is that there's 15 million people on the platform, and just saying, yo, give me a thing, put me on recommended, they don't answer. Because they can't. Because if they answered that, they would have to hire a team. They'd have to hire a team, just to answer those questions every day. And then 90% of the time, it'd just be them typing no in fancy ways. Like they're just not able to do that. It's outside of the realm. But that being said, more emphasis on like creator spotlights would be great. Maybe if they could write an algorithm that gave like a creator spotlight every couple of days on the Twitter, it just pulls like a clip and it's like, yo, have you seen this person yet? Check out their stuff. And then the onus is on you. The onus is on you to provide a video clip, even randomly out of your streams, that is good enough that will get a hook for someone to come in and come back. Outside of that, you can't expect anymore. No,
they're not. They're not going to be able to do much for you. There's just too many people. But I was just thinking about that when you just said that. I'm pretty sure that on Mixer at one point, every now and then they'd have like a wheel at the top that was kind of like recommended, where they'd do like a smaller creator spotlight, where they'd have a wheel of random creators that were, I don't know what the limit was, but it might have been like under 20 viewers, whatever. So maybe there's something like that. But as in a smaller platform, you probably got more of a chance to get seen on that one. So even if they did that, like, it'd be good. But are they really going to appeal to enough people to make it worth their while to do it? So you're better off. You're better off just trying to find your own ways to be discovered and known, and to get your content out there. And like you said, get out there, do a podcast, find a YouTube niche for yourself, get out there and be creative with some other ideas, some other platforms, and Who knows?
Even just being creative here makes a difference. You know, even just doing something different here makes a big, big difference, because there are so many people who are doing this thing here. Like I saw the other day, and it stung me for about 20 seconds because I saw someone who had less followers than me hit partner with less content, less videos, all that kind of stuff. But then I looked into them and I noticed that they did this whole different thing. They had like robot stuff on their body and on their eye, and like the whole thing was like they were like a cyborg.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, whoa, that's completely different to anything. Even if they just play games all the time, just that as a concept is so completely wild. Hell yeah, you deserve that. Go get that. That's amazing. Because in my head, it made me think maybe I haven't done enough, you know? Maybe I haven't been good enough to get there already. But I'm like, no, it's different. It's a totally different approach. It's creative. And that's what you need to do. Something creative, something different. You cannot just play COD, like I've said a billion times here, and expect the result to come. You know, like you can't. You have to be unique. You have to be fun, different, special, whatever it may be. Whether it's just playing a certain game mode that people love all the time. You know, whatever it is, you know, just do something that sets you apart, because there are so many people on the platform. You can't compete unless you are doing something different.
Try and be unique in some way.
It's just straight up the reality. Don't try to be like someone else. Like don't try to be like the next guy. Don't try to look for inspiration. Don't get me wrong. Like I've got Ghost in the Machine and I've got Desynchro, and I look at both of them as pure inspiration because we're all part of the same community. They do very similar stuff to what I do. We feed off each other. Sometimes we'll play the same stuff. Me and Ghost are constantly playing the same games on release, and I'm like, I got a code today, and then a minute later I'll see another tweet, I got a code today, guys. I'm like, shit. Like, you know, now I'm not doing anything unique because, you know, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, that's just how it works. Like, but don't take that and clone yourself. Don't carbon copy yourself. Make yourself, you know. And that's why at the moment, even though we've got this, this Dragon Ball Z aesthetic to everything I do, you know, because I do the Vegeta voice and everything, we will slowly transition away from that and make ourselves more stream brand, you know, be on brand with what I do on the stream, rather than just being, you know, the Prince of all Saiyans all the time. We'll move away from that and move more into me as the Warship, because that's how we grow. That's how we do more things. And then, you know what? No one can actually steal the aesthetic because it's my aesthetic. It's me. You can't be me unless you take my skin off. Like, you can't. So, yeah. I mean, I guess we're still kind of talking about the same thing in a roundabout way. Be unique. Twitch can help, but do not rely on Twitch to do everything for you.
No, definitely not.
It doesn't support people below that level. It doesn't support some people above that level. I know people who are doing better than me who don't get the support they feel they deserve. You got to be different. You got to be special.
Yeah. It goes back to a mindset a lot of times too. I know, having coming from Facebook, and you hear people from Facebook are always, oh, it's the algorithms changed this week, and that's why I don't have the viewers that I did last week, and over here on Twitch it's too saturated and not helping small streamers. Like, it really does just come down to a mindset of like, if you keep on asking what the platform is going to do for you, you're never going to be able to move forward, because they've got so many people to cater for. You've always got to ask, like, what can I do to do something unique? What can I do to try and draw people in? Why would people hang out in my chat? Why would people stay when they do find my stream? So Kai just said in the chat about cosplaying as a character as an idea. Definitely give it a crack. Like, I've done that for quite a while and I really enjoyed it. It is kind of freeing acting like somebody else. I know there's a lot of like be yourself, personal branding, all that sort of stuff, and but to get into that side of thing and to really play a character, that might be your thing. Like, playing a character and being somebody else might actually be your thing, and it might be the unique thing that can draw someone in. Because not only did I do the superhero thing, I've dressed as Kratos with the full skin color change and the because I had the bald head and the beard already, so, and I had the voice changer on to make my voice deeper, and I played God of War with a pair. I played God of War with a floating head Kratos, like when I did the playthrough for God of War. And it's fun. It's fun, and if you're having fun, then your chat will have fun too. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've got a friend who currently doesn't stream. Haven't heard from him in a long time, actually, and he actually does cosplay. He's come to the Stream Perth events before, and he used to
dress fully in like Assassin's Creed gear. That was his whole gimmick. Like that's how he would do every single stream. Unique stuff is cool. You know, absolutely do something unique, do something different. Like, I'm 100% behind that. You know, I'm actually going to be giving away. We've got a baby shower coming up on stream. I'm actually going to be trying to auction off / give away one of my gear sets. So I'll probably wear my wrestling gear. I'll wear that gear on stream for that night. You know, I'll get my makeup done up, all that kind of stuff. But I'll have the gear on. This is the actual set of gear. Here's a photo of it, but this is what I'm actually wearing right now. Like, you know, like so. Even though it's not necessarily cosplay, because I'm kind of playing myself, I'll still go get a spray tan for it. I'll still, you know, I'll still do all the stuff that I used to do for wrestling for it.
Are you gonna do the eyes and everything? Because I've seen some of your wrestling videos. You had like, you got the full thing.
Yeah. Well, there are times like, if my chat really spams me heavily at the very start of stream, if they spam me heavily with emo music, I will sit there and get the eyeliner out and just really quickly run it on. I'll put a hoodie on. I'll pull my hair all to the side. You know, I'll sit there and I'll just quickly grab it and, you know, drop this one over here, and we got this here, and we scruff it back up, and then I sit there and I'm like, right, let's go. You know, it's all sorted out. I'll 100% do that where I can. But it's ridiculous, you know, like, but at the same time, like, yeah, I'll do that. I will 100% do that for the show, like because it's interesting, you know, it's stuff that people will get in. It's a hook. It's fun, and yeah.
All right, so I think we can move on to the next questions now. I reckon we'll go with your questions that you've got lined up, and this is going to be a surprise to me. I haven't even seen these ones today. So, I
mean, my things are more commentary because I posted the question. Like I said, originally, like I retweeted your one, and your one. Where are we here? Let me bring this up. What did you actually write here? We all struggled at times to find streams in content. I'd like to know what is the one thing you really find challenging with creating content. Like, so that was your original kind of tweet words, cheapers. Words. I am one of those right now. And I've got a couple of comments from a couple of people here. So the first one here is from Mashiu, and they said, hard to put it all in words, but mostly my own insecurities. I struggle with self-worth. I often see myself as useless and worthless. It's something I'm trying to work on, but I also hate hearing my own voice, but that's common, I've found. What are your thoughts on that?
So I also go through this. Like, I don't like the sound of my own voice when I listen to it back. I've tried to. I don't know whether you hear your own feedback in your mic just to make sure it's all working good when you're streaming.
Sometimes I do, and then I turn it right off.
Yeah, I've turned mine right off a lot recently. Yeah, it kind of messes with my head trying to hear my own voice. But yeah, I don't like listening to myself. Like, I always feel like I'm obviously sick now, so I'm not feeling energy wise. But I always feel like I'm not very energetic and not very hyped as what I feel like I am. And then when I listen to and watch stuff back later, I'm like, Jesus, why is anyone watching this bloke? Like, he's so fucking boring just sitting there. Like, he just sounds like monotone voice. Like, but that's me. Like, so I really empathize with people who don't like the sound of their own voice. But yeah, what was the start of that part? It was more to do with just confidence and.
Yeah, it was just saying that mostly being insecure and struggling with self-worth, seeing themselves as useless or worthless. So yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people go through that. It's and being someone who loves all the stats, like, it could really play on your mind, and that's why we were talking about it last week. People say turn off the view counts and don't look at the things, but I look at all the things because I like stats and I like to see how I'm going.
Me too.
If you're going through a rough patch and a rough trot, then with your content or outside your content, that can really play on your mind too if you're not seeing the engagement or having a stream where you turn it on and no one showed up after you've had people there before can be really disheartening. So you can that could start to really play on your mind as like an insecurity about why people don't like you, and which is not true, but that's how you feel. So it is very, very hard, and that's kind of like, you know, why we've all got to stick together and we talked about it last week. You have people that are around to bounce ideas off and to jump into DMs and video calls or phone calls with, and make sure you're sharing in each other's experiences and challenges. So because you're not alone, you're one of like tens of millions of people that are also struggling to try and make it in this industry. So
yeah, absolutely. And like you were saying as well, like when it comes to numbers, like that feeling of self-worth and everything like that, numbers is a big thing. And I know a lot of people struggle with numbers, and then they look at those numbers and those numbers aren't getting them what they want, and that's frustrating for them. So then they end up, you know, then they focus on those, and then those numbers become the directive as to like their own value, their own worth, the reasons why they've won or lost based purely on like, yes, there were 6 people, one stream, now there are 2. Have failed, and then your self-worth goes straight into the ground. That's all part of it too, you know, like that's what I was saying is that when it comes to just being a smaller streamer, and when you first start streaming, having those numbers, it can really get in your brain, like really badly. And because I am a numbers guy, you're a numbers guy, we both get that feeling. It's really difficult to consolidate that. No, you're doing a good job. No, you're getting there. Especially if you're trying to do it for more than just your own fun. One thing, obviously, within the goer sphere here is that it's important to remember that it's okay to just play. It's okay to not have to do this as a job. It's okay to not want to do this to make money. It's okay to not want to do this for any clout or any other bullshit reason other than to sit there and play games and have fun. That is a perfectly valid thing to do, and honestly very honorable for a lot of time too, because a lot of people don't do that. So if you're comfortable sitting there just playing just to have fun, awesome. You're on the right track for your own personal happiness, and you know, I couldn't be more proud, because that's awesome stuff. For me, obviously my situation is a little bit different, and for other streamers who may be struggling with numbers and letting those numbers get to their head, their situation may be very different too. So when everything relies on things going well, a dip in numbers can kill your motivation. Like even for me at the moment, because we're in the middle of this soft push, we're calling it, because I hate the words partner push and I refuse to use them.
So we're going with soft push instead.
We're going with soft push. Well, it doesn't sound like I'm forcing people to do anything. Partner push is like, you better be there. If you're not there, I'll kill you, all of you.
Let's bloody go.
Yeah. Let's go, guys. You know, like all that stuff. We're not doing any of that. But at the same time, like if I have a day where there's 10 people less at a critical moment, I'm like, well, it's back to square one. I failed. Let's start again. And that's exactly the same feeling on a different scale. Like that feeling that I have is exactly the same and no more valid than someone who goes from having 10 to 4 and wondered what they've done wrong. You know 100%. What I mean? Like it's exactly the same. And it's just super important to understand that there are variables. Life is a huge variable. Some days people just won't be there. Some days you might not be playing something they want to watch. Some days you might not be having a good day yourself. And you know what? If you're having a shit day, the way that you put yourself out there on stream, it can make a huge difference. If you come in there and the chat's like pumping, let's go, we got some music playing, we're getting on the beers, we're having this one, and then it shows up at the screen and I'm like, hey guys, how you doing? How you going? Having a good one? I'm having a kind of rough day. Straight away, the moment they know their energy's there, it's down, and then their energy is down, and then they might just not stick around. And it's not because they don't like you. It's not because they don't want to get around you. It's because they may have had a shithouse day, and then they need that.
They're looking for that buzz.
They're looking for that buzz. They are, absolutely. And if you can't provide it, it's okay to have days off too. That's another really important thing that I have trouble with. You know, it's okay to have a break.
Definitely need breaks.
So outside of that one, the other one was... This one is one that I would love to get some information from you and the chat on as well, because it doesn't currently fit within stuff that I'm able to speak on. Okay. This is one from Scooby Jame, and he says, I find it extremely hard to be consistent with work at the moment because the length of my shifts, I come home late and I'm exhausted and I end up falling asleep. And that's what my struggle is when it comes to content. Would you like to speak on that?
Well, I've got a really good sort of strategy you can do for that. It depends on how often you can go live and whether you can actually put a consistent live stream out there at all. Like I only ever usually stream twice when I'm doing my own thing. That's because as much as I want to make it as a content creator or find my space within the sort of live streaming and content creation world, I also value making money and running my own business. And so I work alone, so I often, although I usually work a 8 to 5 sort of normal sort of day, because I work alone, I can often be there for hours at a time afterwards. Like just the other day when we had our catch up the other night, I was still at work. I was at work until 8 o'clock that night. I went home, had some dinner, and went back to work, and I was there until 11:30 at night. So it can be like that sometimes for me as well. So that's why I try and stick to 2. But what I would say to that is, have you ever thought about not doing live streaming or putting so much effort, or not effort, emphasis on live streaming? Even if that is your goal down the track, you could kind of play around with the odd live stream if you want. But what I would say is your time that you do have free, is it better used if you put it into, say, recording something and creating some sort of a video for YouTube? Maybe that's the route to go, because if you just made it that I just want to bring out 1 10-minute video every week and that's my goal, then you can find your little pockets of 1 hour here and there and record some stuff if you've got an idea. And that might be a better strategy for someone whose time is all over the place and they've only got random hours here and there to do some stuff. That's what I would say.
Yep. No, absolutely. Like, that's a really, really good way to approach it. Like, for me, because my schedule is pretty full on, it's a 9 to 5 almost, it's from 9:30 till like 5 days a week. So that's pretty much like a job set of hours. So for me, I need to get into a lot more actual content creation. Like, I need to get into a lot more YouTube. I've got this sponsorship deal with Anti-Beauty at the moment, and I'm recording footage for it, but I haven't sat down and done the things I need to do to create it yet. Like, I need that time. I need that time to get in there and do my thing, but I am flat sticks with the content creation. Some days I'll sleep until midday because I've been up until 3 or 4. But that's because that's my work hours. Like, I have to stop kicking myself in the face for that as well, because it's legitimately the time that I'm there for work. And yeah, for me, my whole situation is a little different, but at the same time, there is a lot of merit in going and doing YouTube or the podcasting or whatever it may be that you can do in that spare time. In that spare time, that work you can do, that's important as all hell. So if it's just like, you know what, I can't stream for 5 hours, I can't. But what I can do is I can spend an hour filming, an hour recording before I go to bed, and then an hour editing. So maybe 2 hours in total. Getting everything set up. I've got an idea. I'm going to do a bit of a top of the morning to you laddies, here's the let's play video, whatever the case may be. You have that time to do that, and then you spend an hour editing it. Maybe you get it finished, maybe you don't. If you do, you put it on the internet, and you say, okay guys, I'm really sorry, what's going on there, Discord? I can't be in today. I'm really sorry, I'm super tired, but tomorrow morning there will be a YouTube video up. Go and check it out. It's going to be so fun. And yeah, honestly, that's sort of all that I can really suggest is a good way to keep the flow, because at the end of the day, consistency is better than the constant. Being consistent with the streams is super important, but the quality is very, very much so better. So if you can't provide a good stream in 2 hours, don't. Do an hour of recording and then an hour of editing, and then instead of providing maybe a kind of semi-crappy 2-hour stream, you can provide a good 15-minute to 25-minute YouTube video. You've done your job. You've done the work you need to do, and you've given your community something to watch. That's my perspective as well. Absolutely. A million times over. Consistency with content, no matter what it is, I think is the way to go. So you just got to find that content that fits that you can provide consistently. And if you decide, I could probably do a couple hours here and an hour there, maybe an hour editing or a couple hours editing over here, I think I could get 1 video out a week on a YouTube. If you did it on YouTube, there's nothing stopping you from maybe testing out the waters and streaming on YouTube too, and going live from the same page. So that way you are building slowly an audience through your videos that you're providing once a week. And then it probably wouldn't matter if your odd stream that you did, maybe you can only stream for a few hours once every couple of weeks. If you did that on Twitch while you were creating those YouTube videos, no one would show up. No one would even know about you.
But if you did it on YouTube, where you've already starting to build that slow following, doing the odd stream, if that's your secondary content, probably wouldn't be a bad idea there too, if you want to still try the live streams every now and then. Or the other way to do it is to do, I've seen YouTubers and some quite successful YouTubers too, if you've got a unique idea and you want to do live streaming, try and, if you can work out if your idea actually can be done while live on a stream. So whatever it is, maybe you spend an hour streaming, but you're actually there for a reason. You are hanging out with chat, but then you're making sure you, like, depends on what the idea is really. But I've seen people do 3-hour live streams, and during the 3-hour live stream, they'll stop for their recording session right in the middle. And then you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. So that's another option too.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's another really good one too. Like, for example, when we did a shirt on stream. We made a shirt on stream. So because I am qualified graphic designer, I've got my like advanced diploma in graphic design. Nice. So I'm able to make things content wise. So a little while ago we did an Anchor Club shirt. So before we even had the stream team, before we had anything, just as a way to say thank you to the community. And it's just a shirt in the style of Undertale, and it has the Undertale heart as the logo, and it just says the Anchor Club is for everyone on it. But we got an idea from one of my mods, from Bestia, who gave me sort of the concept. You know, he gave us the wording on it. I think it says the Anchor Club is for anyone as long as you're for everyone. So it's got like a really positive message on it about supporting each other and caring about each other. And then that fits into the Undertale like determination and all that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, cool. So we spent probably an hour on stream just making that design. And then I made it available for sale and all that kind of stuff. But it was more about the sitting in there together, playing around on Photoshop, making the design exist, and it was something we did as a group. You know, it was something we did as a community, and yeah, it's really, really cool to see. So like that's really stuff cool. Like that is absolutely within the realm. I knew I had to do that anyway. We were talking about it. They were like, "Yo, we want some Anchor Club merchandise," and I'm like, you know what? Let's do it tonight. Let's do it live. Let's do it live, baby. So I just got the Photoshop on there. There it is. You see, Bish wrote it in the chat there. That's the slogan it says on the shirt. And yeah, we just put it in there, and we just sat down and we did it. And I've been in streams too where someone like Caffeinated Bish has been making emotes for people in the stream, or cool. graphics in general. Yeah, and those are fun.
I love watching creative streams like that.
Especially because they're so much better than me. Because as far as I'm good with, I'm really good at digital design. I am absolutely shithouse at drawing. And I don't have like a Wacom or anything like that. I don't have a proper tablet. But yeah, shithouse. Cannot barely draw anything. Can draw a good Sonic and a good Homer Simpson, and that's about it. But yeah, like there's like for me, I'm very much so on the photography side, on the digital art side, and that's really where my quality of skill lies in itself. But yeah, like stuff like that's super cool. Like it's really, really unique, very, very different. You just have to be engaging at the same time. You can't just be there and be like, you know, and there's a line and that's it. And like, and then you don't talk and all you hear is like, you know, like because they're breathing into the microphone or whatever it is for like 3 hours. You know, you need to have good music playing. You need to have people in there like just chatting it out, having good banter. You know, yeah, you can draw, but sure, you can take a moment to talk to people.
It's got to be engaging.
But you know,
while you
that's different. That's super different. Like, you know, there's that, and then there's like that just kind of speaks to what we were saying before about really taking your own control, like your own destiny when it comes to streaming, is because it doesn't have to be just sitting in front of the computer playing a game. It doesn't just have to be like, you know, playing Warzone or PUBG or whatever it may be. You know, it can be different, unique stuff. Like we're doing a cooking stream really soon as well, and that one will literally be very me nice. In the new office once it's finished, doing a very similar thing to Markiplier Makes, which like that's where a bunch of people all stand in front of a hot plate and they say, all right, let's make pizza. Here are the basic ingredients for pizza. We're not going to tell you how to do it. You've got 15 minutes. And then, you know, a few of us will get together and we'll all try to make it. And then we'll see what's the best one. You know, what's the best really pizza? Cool. Who wins? You know, different stuff. It's important.
Yeah, you got to find that stuff. We keep saying it. Got to find that unique stuff.
Yeah, and that's honestly, as far as the conversation goes, that's what I would say is sort of the key. Is being unique is the number one. If you're trying to drive more people to your stream, it doesn't matter how good you are at games. It doesn't. I am shithouse at games. We've had this conversation before. You've seen it if you've come to my streams ever. GeoGuessr is a goddamn game about maps, and I am somehow shithouse at it. I am somehow garbage at maps. People are like, okay, that's in Romania. And I'm like, yeah, I know where that is. Let's just zoom in together and then I'll definitely see it. I'm like, there it is. I knew all along. What are you talking about? But yeah, like you don't need to be good.
Too. I've been watching you play that a little bit. I love that. I want to kind of give that a crack.
I mean, it's good fun, honestly. And if you can set it up, there's a thing called Chat Guesser, and that's the thing that I use to make it easy to work.
Oh, yeah.
That's also the one that allows the chat to communicate and play along with you.
Yeah,
but with that, like, you don't have to be good. I don't have to be good at that. I don't have to be good at Among Us if we ever play that. I don't have to be good at marbles, even though every time I win, I'm sitting here and I'm like, like, I'm the best. Thank you very much. Yes, Chippy, I know. I'm amazing at it. Yes. No, I'm the best. It's okay. You guys don't worry about it. Like every single time. But you don't have to be good at those games. And I can play those games all the time on stream and still have a blast. Have fun with the homies, have a good time. So it's not about, you don't need to be the coolest person who can do the best, headshots, 360 no scopes or anything like that at all. That's not conducive to success here. No. Being the best at Fortnite isn't the best.
No, you got to be, it's all about the entertainment factor now. Like we talked about it. I keep saying that. We talked about it the other week, but they all sort of kind of do roll in. Together. Like you can't be the best at any game right now and get noticed unless you're engaging and entertaining in other ways. It's that
or unless you're incredible. Like you either have to be like a prodigy.
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
And even then, you would have to somehow get noticed by people to vouch for you, or have some YouTube videos up or something too to get noticed. Because obviously, if you're playing games like that, you're probably playing a very oversaturated game too. So even like there's probably some people right now that are like prodigies at Call of Duty, but are sitting there with the 3 viewers because so is everyone else.
Yeah,
so you got to do something different.
And look, absolutely the facts. It's like it doesn't matter how good you are these days. What matters is how good you can talk. What matters is how good you can get around the community and have a good time. And like I've been saying for weeks on end here now, it's the most important thing is being the person in someone else's chat that you want to see come to your chat. It's having those conversations where you get in, you're like, hey man, how you doing? How's your stream? What have you been doing? Have you been playing this the whole time? And really getting around each other in that conversation, in that moment, because those moments when it comes time for the person you've been watching to watch something on Twitch, they'll be like, oh yeah, man, look. There's Shippy. Shippy spent heaps of time today hanging out with me talking, and it was a great time. It was a lot of fun. Let's go. And then they come visit you, and that's not being manipulative at all. It's just building like a good relationship, a good working relationship between yourself and this person. It's nothing. We're not manipulating anyone. I'm not trying to be like a bad guy. It's just saying, hey, I appreciate your content. And then you appreciate my content because you want to, not because I'm telling you to, not because you have to. It's not follow for follow. It's not view for view. It's just being a good person, and then that comes back.
Yeah,
like it really is that. Like people want views, so people want lurkers. Do that. If people want people who want to hang out and talk, and do that. God damn it, I've been called out. I was wondering how long it would take to get called out on the hats. I was running a little bit of an experiment in the back there. I kept changing my hats to see how long it would take for someone to notice.
I definitely noticed when the orange one came out. I'm like, you were definitely not wearing orange before. So how many hats did you get through? What's this?
Oh. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, that was good. That was worth it. That was absolutely worth the whole thing. I put the other hat back on though. I like this hat. But yeah, no, it honestly, when it comes down to it, like just being the person that you want to see around your chat is the most important thing you can do, just about, because what it shows is that you care about their journey and their content and everything as well. Like it really There you go, get your high five. It really, really does make a difference, because at the end of the day, you know, we're all in this together. At least we should be.
Yeah.
We should be. Ego's got no place here. We've said that 1,000 times. You know, it doesn't. Just be good people.
Yeah, definitely. It's that community factor that'll have people coming back. But even if you're like, and so you come into your streams and you feel like you're part of a community, you feel like you're a mate, and that brings that person value. And that's one thing that I've always looked at in the content creation world, no matter whether it's streaming or other things, because here in my household, we do other, like my wife does content as well. It's not streaming, but it's and it's we're always talking about content and these ideas. Recently, this is a really, really cool thing, because I've crapped on about this stuff for a few years, and now my wife's starting to make content, so we have these discussions all the time at home. It's great. But it's what I've always been saying to her, because if you're trying to make we won't beat around the bush. A lot of people are trying to make a living out of streaming and content creation. And so creating a friendly community that people want to join is bringing those people value and making those people trust you as a creator. And it's, if you can put in the hard yards and develop trust and community with those people and bring those people value, it's only then that people will want to invest in what you're doing. So if you are doing it as a business, if you're not bringing people value and you're not making true connections with people and building community around what you do, then you won't make it. It's not going to be a job for you. You're going to find it really, really hard. So you've got to add that value first if you want people to invest in you later.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no obligation for anyone to be here. Like, that's the key that a lot of people don't really remember or don't really focus on, is that you have zero obligation as a viewer to be in my streams. Even right now when we're doing this soft push, like, you have no obligation to be there. No one has any obligation to be there. I have no right to ask you to be there. You know, I don't. All it really is that if you find value in what I'm doing, then you'll be there. You know, like that's the reality of the situation.
And you as a creator, all you've got to do is keep providing that value, and the community will keep coming back.
Yeah, as long as I provide the value, then, like, you know, if they don't come back, then it's obviously something that I've done wrong. You know what I mean? Like as a person, I'm not providing what they want, and then I either need to choose to reassess myself, which is the right thing to do, or stick in my heels and say, you know what, no. All of them. I'm going to do what I want to do, and then you will definitely see a drop. The second you do that, the second you focus on what you want to do as opposed to the stream, you're done. You're absolutely done. And I've seen it happen in the short time I've been streaming. I've seen it happen about 50 times, where people get pig-headed and they get stuck in their own game, and they're like, "Nah, rack off. We're playing that." And they full on sometimes even say that to the chat. They're like, "Oh, can we play something else?" Like, "Nope, this is what I want to play." And then all of a sudden, one less person in the chat. And yeah, like that's it's the worst. Like honestly, we need to evolve. And if your stream isn't liking the direction your stream is going in, they will tell you. And if they tell you, you need to do something about it. If you don't do something about it, you're not listening to the community that has no obligation to be there. Yeah. You're creating a situation where you're giving them nothing and then asking everything. And that's not, you know, at all what we should be doing.
And you're obviously
as content creators.
You're obviously talking about from an extreme point of view too, like a section of your viewership is asking for a game changer, not the one person. Don't ever change games because of one person, especially if they're not a regular or they've only been around for a short
obviously
time. But everyone's content is different too. Like some people's have been revolved around a game, and then you've switched games, so that can probably bring out that sort of thing as well. Some people just play stupid games, and it doesn't matter what they're playing. It's just, and that's kind of what yours is anyway. Your community is, you play a lot of community focused games, and it's all about the community a lot of the time. So it shouldn't. I think. I'd be surprised if you get that a lot of the time, people asking, unless they're asking for one of the stupid games you usually play.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. See, I get on the opposite side. So I'm more likely to get someone complaining because I'm not playing stupid games and I've decided to play a serious game for the night. Okay, and they're like, when can we play Jackbox? Or when can we play Marbles? And I'm like, we're not playing them today. Like, you know, because I want to play something different. But yeah, that's honestly the only time in which that will happen, is when The majority is fine with me playing something different. Because honestly, if I asked right now the members of the Anchor Club who are in here, hey, do you give a single what I play on stream? And I guarantee you the answer will be no, because they don't care. The real ones don't care. Like they really, really don't. But at the same time, it's super, super important that if you have not even a majority, but even a minority of people, like a good few people who are coming in and they're like, yo, can we change this today? Can we play something else? We're bored of this now. Listen to them. Because you're not doing yourself any favors by ignoring your community. Like, you're really, really not. And that's honestly, I was ignoring my community when they told me they didn't care what I played. So I was trying to change up all the time and really focus on games I thought they'd like and everything. Yeah. And then they're like, bro, I don't care. I don't care at all.
Yeah.
And it's super, super important to realize is that at the end of the day, yes, it is your stream, but your stream would be nothing at all without the people there. Because when you get to a point where you've got a few people in the stream, it stops being you just sitting in front of a computer and playing games, and it starts being a safe place, a place for people to hang out, a place that people identify with as being a fun environment. Whether it's safe or not, I don't know. My streams are, and I hope yours are too. But it stops being just a place where you're just sitting there and playing games. It starts being an actual place of substance where people have friends. So many of my stream, they're like, I have more friends in this chat than I have in real life. And if I miss a stream, I hate it. I hate missing that time because I feel like I said no to going out with the boys. I feel like I said no to hanging out with my friends. That's what you want. That's the kind of environment you want to cultivate. You don't want to cultivate an environment where you say, nah, absolutely, I'm playing this game and you're not allowed to tell me what to do. And if you want to tell me how to do, get the out of my stream. You're not helping anybody by doing that, at all.
It's the community side of things, which is really, really good. I said, I've got friends that play, have done a lot of shooters and struggled and then switched to games where, if, for example, one of my friends talks a lot about wrestling, so he switched and started playing WWE 2K on Facebook and started getting hundreds of viewers consistently every stream, and he switched it up after a few months because he didn't want to play wrestling anymore and wanted to play Call of Duty pretty much. And now he'll still have a couple of people, but now he's going back to 5 to 10 viewers again, which is where he was at before that. So sometimes if you want to play, if you get to that sort of point, he really, really loves wrestling, then you've become like someone who talks about wrestling and plays wrestling. And he had a lot of community games involved with doing, say, Royal Rumble, and everyone would come into the streams early on in the stream and they'd all pick numbers randomly and then they'd do a randomized Royal Rumble, and that's what he built his community around. And then all of a sudden got sick of it and wanted to change it up and has kind of paid the consequences now. You can always play Call of Duty on your own off stream if your community is now built around a certain game. I don't even think they care, when it gets to that point, how good he's playing or whether he's even playing or just putting it on computer simulation. They want to hang out with him and the rest of the chat and talk about wrestling.
That's the problem with going to one of those kind of games. From a game that's so chat interactive, because computer versus computer, oh guys, I wonder who's going to win the wrestling match. Oh, the Royal Rumble, The Rock is here. To go from that, that really interactive space, and Lukey Bangerz is coming to the match. Oh, the clothesline, to really commentating the whole thing, to go from that to these ones. Of course you're going to lose half your community. Dead set. Of course you're going to lose half your community because they're there for that. They're there for you, friend, not for the games. And if you want to play a different game, do the same shit. You're sitting there, oh, look at their headshot, he's down for the count. Still bring that aspect to it. Don't go from being one kind of streamer to a completely different streamer just because. Of course you're going to lose the community. Absolutely. We started playing GTA Chaos last night, which is honestly the most infuriating thing in the entire world. My head, my heart, all of it. I didn't get past the first part.
Just quickly, what's GTA Chaos?
Okay, so for the uninformed, right? GTA Chaos is a mod for GTA, right? And it plays through the story mode.
Yeah.
And essentially what it allows the chat to do is they can type a number between 1 and 5, and whatever what it is it's got status effects, and whatever number wins is what happens. So I was playing the very first level, like not the tutorial, but I'm in like I'm about to walk out to pick one of the 2 cars to race at the very start of GTA 5. And then all of a sudden, a meteor shower happened because they voted for it in the chat, and it destroyed everything. It wasted me like 3 times in a row. I came back, I walked out, and then whales started to rain from the sky.
Oh, really?
So the whole thing was just that. It was trolling the video game. And like I legitimately spent 3 hours trying to get out of that one spot and get to the checkpoint, like the next available sort of checkpoint. And it was constantly just troll after troll after troll, but it was funny.
Yeah,
and even though I wasn't talking to the chat so much, I'm sitting there, I'm like, like the whole thing was just that. Like, it was just like, get you piece of chat, what the is your problem? Like it was just like the whole thing. It was just constantly me yelling at the thing. Like it was hard. It was hard. Yeah. You lost Lamar. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. Just constantly.
Like a ride, anyway.
It was fun, but that's what I'm saying. Like, to go from my usual, which is very interactive, very chat speaky, to a game where I actually don't have the time to look as often as I'd like to.
Yeah.
It's still about maintaining the same level of energy, the same characterization, me still being me, but just in a different way. You know what I mean? Like, so I'd still stop. I'd like, if I saw a particular highlighted message or a long message, I'd pause it and I'd be like, right, let's read my big chat right here. And then I'd come back and we'd go from there. Because if there was important stuff going, like I'm like, hey, how you doing? And I see out of the corner of my eye, not good, pause. Straight to the chat, and that's important.
It still kind of fits within your niche though, because it was a mod where the chat could still be integrated. They're still a part of the gameplay.
Yeah,
that's going on, so that's
they're in the experience.
What you're doing usually.
Yeah, so it fits. It tracks along with marbles. It tracks along with Jackbox. It tracks along with all that stuff because they're still doing the thing, they're still a part of the stream. They're still having fun in the stream, but it's completely different. But at the same time, interaction's still there. I'm still making sure to play with them. We're still having a good time. It's just a totally different way of doing it. And that's sort of what I was trying to say is that yes, it's okay to play different things. Yes, it's okay to do different things. We'll probably end up doing role play at some point on GTA as well, because I think that'd be a lot of fun. Me putting on a voice and doing that the whole time. But at the same time, that's another situation where chat interaction will have to go down. But at that point as well, hopefully then I'm like, right, guys, I'm going to play this. If anyone has the game, you can jump in as well. I won't be able to talk to you directly unless it's in the game. But this is what we're doing, and having a bit of fun with that too, like a bit of like an Anchor Club role play section. You know what I mean? Like, and that would be fun. But again, that's probably something that I would concentrate for after, if we get to the level that we want to get to, because then it doesn't really matter if we spend a long time focused on it, because it's not that I'm going to say I'm going to just like completely start ignoring the chat or anything, but it will mean that I'll be able to spend time with those people one-on-one without worrying about alienating the rest of the stream. So there are so many things to think about when it comes to game choice, but I think as long as you're you, that's the most important part. Yeah,
pretty much. Hit the nail on the head. So where do you want to go next with what we speak about? There's probably a couple of points I can pull out of the Twitter thread today that were probably good ones to speak on.
We got a big message here from Kaiju Kai.
Do you want to get to that while it's still close in the chat?
So I'll read it out and then you can speak on it, yeah?
All right.
So I've got a question for Streamaholics that's kind of on streaming, more on gaming. But what are your opinions on remakes of games with the news that Dead Space 1 is getting remade? How do you feel about them? Is it a good thing as it upgrades the game to have better gameplay, visuals, sounds, and whatnot? Or is it a bad thing as it's completely unoriginal and probably unneeded in certain circumstances? And also, how can it introduce a new audience to the game who may have missed out on it originally? Thoughts?
I think probably that second point is probably where it might be more successful as a content creator, people who haven't played it before, or I think what people what streamers find that takes off a little bit or can gain a bit of traction is if you as a streamer haven't played the game before and your chat has, and so community starts finding people. Games that have a good community around it really love seeing streamers go through first playthroughs. So I think that would that's where it can. I don't think you're introducing it to a new audience. I think it's going to be more the other way around. It's the audience is already there. They're going to watch streamers play through it for the first time. For the most part, obviously there will be some new people looking for it. People that missed it when it first came out might be looking to see some gameplay, and they might look to Twitch instead of YouTube. But those are the two places that people might want to look first. But in terms of remakes of games, I don't really have a strong opinions on remakes of games and whether they should go for original content. It's the same with movies and that. It just happens to be where the money is. The money that they make from re-releasing a game that everyone's already paid for, but they know they will pay for again, helps them create other things. That the money that they raise and make through making remakes can help them fund their other projects that they've got going on. So I don't really have a problem with that.
Absolutely. Well, from my perspective, I have been begging BioWare for the past 10 years to give me Mass Effect again. With updated graphics and with better controls, I have been begging for it. I have also been begging Square Enix for about 20 years to give me a Final Fantasy remake, a Final Fantasy VII remake. So when it comes to the content that we're getting with remakes, I've got no problem, because Final Fantasy VII Remake is absolutely poggers, as the kids say. Completely and utterly a excellent game. Like, we have a great time. That shit bussin'. Like, it's a real fun experience. And conversely, Mass Effect, it is my favorite game series of all time. It literally saved my life. I wouldn't be here as a person had I not had friends when I had nobody that I got through Mass Effect. As dumb as that sounds, there was a point in my life where I needed that friendship, and I got it through a game because I couldn't get it anywhere else. I was in a very low point. I was at a very low point in my life, and that is a game that literally saved me. So for me, I absolutely adore it. I absolutely adore all of it. I really do. And I'm more than happy for them to remake all my favorite games over and over again.
Yeah, every 10
Give
years.
me Mass Effect in another 10 years when it is completely VR in my brain. Like honestly, like, do it straight up. I've got no problem with it at all. I think that it drives a good cycle of bringing a new generation and giving them the experience again. And it also allows the companies to continue to fuel new projects and break off and be diverse. But the good thing about game developers is most companies, big companies, have a branch for this game. So they have a branch to continually upgrade. Like BioWare has a section that is completely focused on Mass Effect. And the reason why Andromeda was shithouse is because they took that and they moved it over to Anthem. And that's why we never got a good version of Andromeda until they fixed all the patches. But as far as the game goes, like, they generally have like a team who works specifically on the game, you know. So have them work on it, have them cycle through every, get to 5 years later and like, right, boys, let's go, it's time to get back in, let's do it again. And then they spend the next 5 years making the game, however long it takes, and then release it again, because there are classics. There are absolutely classics. You can't tell me that every single Mario game isn't just the same game with better graphics. Like, you literally can't say it. Mario Maker goes even more of a slap in the face because it makes you make the same damn game again. Not only are they making the same damn game, but they're making you do it. So yeah, you can't tell me that Nintendo hasn't been doing this for the entirety of the time that Nintendo has existed. So I see absolutely no problem with it at all. I think that it's really healthy for business. And as far as the second point goes, Scrolly, back up. As far as the second point goes, I think I answered the second point more than the first point. Shit. Where are we? How far up did we go?
Audiences.
Jeepers.
How could it introduce a new audience to the game who may have missed out on it? Yeah.
That's the thing. It absolutely brings in a new audience. It absolutely brings in a new audience who missed it out in the first time. Like Dead Space 1 coming in, that's going to be so cool. I only played it for the first time this year. I've never played it before, and we did a playthrough on my stream, and I love it. And we were going to play Dead Space 2, but it just wasn't the right time for it. We'll probably do that after, if things go the way that we're hoping they will as well. But yeah, I played it for the first time this year, and I did the whole thing with the same gun, the first gun that you get in the game, because they were like, do it this way. And I'm like, okay, because I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. So my chat's like, yo, you should play it all the way through with this one gun. I'm like, okay, done. You know, I absolutely think that it's nothing but good to bring in that audience too. Like, as you were saying, when it comes to expanding your audience, when you have no idea what you're doing and we never played the game before as well, like, that's really, really cool. And if you're going to do that every 10 years with a game, you know, because obviously I don't want to go back and play the original Metal Gear. Like, you know, I don't want to go play Metal Gear Solid, the PlayStation version of it now. Even though it's a great game, give me an updated version of that. Give me an updated version with Revolver Ocelot and Liquid Snake. Give us that entire game with Meryl and, you know, Metal Gear. Give me all of that again, like straight up. And I'll play it on stream, you know. And there'll be people who have never played it because it is too old. It is straight up too old. Like, why is that not a good thing? How could that not be a positive thing? That's just my opinion. I don't know if we're wrong there, but that's sort of how I feel about it. Absolutely.
No, definitely. Okay, so I've got a couple of comments from the Twitter here. I'm just trying to look through and see which ones will be worthwhile mentioning now that we might not have gone through. Pete's comes back to this one a lot, that he struggles with his content, and we'll go back to back again. What I said in the Twitter post was that we all struggle at times with our streams and content. I'd like to know that one thing that you really find challenging when creating content. Maybe it's an ongoing thing or something that has only just come up recently. Pete comes back to this point a lot of the time, and that's comparing yourself to others, and how that can really bog you down and change your mindset. So have you ever had any challenges with comparing yourself to other people that's kind of held you back at all, or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think that especially very early on, I was really sort of focused on hitting milestones. And there's nothing wrong with goals, you know, there's nothing wrong with setting goals and fighting your way through and reaching them. But when it comes to like comparing myself to others, I've definitely done it. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing all this right. All of this is correct right now, but I'm here and I'm feeling like I should be here rather than down here. Yeah. I think that's a natural feeling. And again, that probably goes back to the stuff we were talking about earlier when it comes to like smaller streamers and their numbers, because I think a lot of that numbers stuff is looking at someone else who you think you might be better than or as good as, and you're like, why do they have 33 in their chat and I've got 8? You know, like I think that a lot of that comes down to that for sure. But I think it's good to have like a healthy, right, you're I'm coming for you and I'm taking it. I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna steal it all. I don't even care. I'm not taking your audience, but I'm gonna show you how much better I can be. I'll have my own audience. Like, you know, I'll have my own Twitch with Blackjack. like, never mind, forget the Twitch. But like, you know, that's the kind of feeling that you get. You know, you're getting in here and you're like, right, let's go. Let's have a great time. Let's do our thing. Let's grow and have fun. Because it's okay to compare yourself to someone else. It's okay to say, you know, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to do it as well as this person. Yeah. Like, it's more than fine to do so.
Having goals and that you're trying to achieve and reach.
Assigning yourself goals is super, super important. I think that it makes a big, big difference rather than assigning yourself enemies, assigning yourself people to get better than. It's better to say, all right, so this person here, they've got 40 people in their chat pretty much every stream. I'm going to do everything I can to have 41. Like, you know, like, and you're not saying I'm coming for them directly, but saying, no, if I can do everything they're doing and get one more person, that means that I've beat that goal. And then you look at the next person. Yeah, I'm the best. But no, like, I think that's fine. Yeah. Next challenger. Exactly right. Here comes a new challenger. a million times over exactly correct. But at the same time, it's like, that's not a bad thing. That's healthy. You know, to go back to your wrestling conversation before, back when, WWF and WCW were around, wrestling was great. It was healthy. It was super back and forth because they were trying to beat the other one every week. Yeah. And then as soon as they bought WCW, it went to shit for a good 10 years. Yeah, it absolutely did. Like, it absolutely did. And that is purely because of the lack of competition. Yeah. So I think it's healthy to have goals to set yourself at. I think it's healthy to have, like, a yardstick to measure yourself to. And then when you achieve it, that makes you feel better as well, So I think that's good. Yeah, I think it's really, really good.
It's definitely for me like a mindset thing. I think because I've got some experience in my early days with some people, or even one or two people, mainly one person in particular, that shall not be named, that I kind of started out at the same time, and I kind of found myself in a little bit of a rivalry with them in terms of our growth and stuff. And there wasn't like it wasn't even a thing that they would have even known about. It was just something on my own part that I used to compare myself to where they were going, and I got my head stuck in the space of like I don't agree with a lot of the things that this person's doing to grow, and then I hated it when it worked a little bit. And I still was dead against some of the things that they were doing to grow. I was like, that's not the right way to go about it. And so I got into a little bit of a pattern for about, I don't know, probably 6 months or more, where I was really focusing on this one person and checking into their streams and being a bit like, oh, see, he doesn't know anything. He's only got like 5 viewers today. Like, it's not even working. Like, and then getting into like conversations in Discords with this person. And so I was comparing myself to their growth all the time. And that one person, it wasn't their fault because there was other things at play as well, which made me, this was in my Facebook days. So there wasn't just that, there was some other things at play as well about, between Mixer and Facebook, which made me switch to Mixer. But in a way, it was one of those things that piled on where I was like, well, no, I'm going to go over to Mixer. I actually ended up being more successful in that short amount of time than them on Facebook. But part of the reason, one of those little small added on reasons to move to Mixer was like, I can get away from that person. So it was the wrong mindset. And what Pete's said and I've learned this before anyway, is that I've gone and got out of the Discords that the people that made me feel like that are in, and communities that they're in. I've stayed friends with people in those communities that I gel well with, and still friends to this day. But it was more important for me to separate myself from the people I was comparing myself to, unfollow them. Pete mentions a lot that he went through an unfollowing spree where he almost unfollowed like 50% of the people he was following on Twitter because it would mean that he wasn't going to constantly look at them, even though you don't try to, and you try to get yourself in the mindset of like, oh, I'm just going to worry about my own thing. If you do find yourself looking anyway, because you kind of do sometimes, then maybe unfollow people and just get them out of sight, out of mind, just to allow you to start fresh and focus on what you're doing yourself. And that's exactly what I did all those years ago now. It was like 2 years now. Like, it's been a long journey, but yeah, I definitely had people like that in my content journey that I had to learn. It was a learning experience for me as well. Not to focus on other people. And mine was more of like it wasn't a friendly rivalry, but it wasn't even a rivalry because that person couldn't give two shits about what I was feeling, because it wasn't a thing that ever came out. It was just a thing that I was always stuck on. It was for jealousy, I guess. It was jealousy coming out of myself at the time. As much as I thought the person was full of shit, a lot of people were listening to what they were saying, and I was jealous that he had like a bit of people listening to him. And so I just had to like shut myself off from that and go, right, well, people can, maybe he's right, maybe I'm wrong. Like, people can believe what they want to believe and follow the people they want to follow and follow the advice that they think is good advice. That's what I've always said. You listen to everyone's advice and you just pick and choose the bits that you think's logical and would help you and pertains to what you do. So, but yeah, definitely, if you if you're feeling the way I did about people, then I highly recommend not, because when you're doing that, you're not focusing on your own content. You're wasting energy that you could be using to come up with great ideas and feel good about your own content by focusing on what other people are doing wrong or right, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So but if you've got the right mindset, like what you're talking about, and making it sort of like a friendly thing in your head, like a goal or an ambition, then that's a good thing to be looking at. So you can definitely keep those sort of thoughts in your head and people in on your feed.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Like I before we started the Anchor Club, I was in a few stream teams. I'd gone through the process of getting in stream teams and making friends and really trying to get support for people behind what I was doing, but also trying to find like-minded people to get around as well. Because at the end of the day, it's like I can only do so much like by myself. So my mindset was that if I had some people around who would come in and support, maybe we could raid into each other, maybe we could grow together, all that kind of stuff. It'd be awesome. And then I never got that, really. Like, there were a couple of situations. I've made about 3 friends, I'd say, out of the whole situation. Out of 3 teams, I reckon I've made 3 friends.
Yeah, right.
And that's just unfortunate, but it's the facts. Is just that because at the end of the day, they were always about their esports. They were always about, who's the best Fortnite player and who's really good at Rocket League. If that's you, we'll push you on our social media all day long. And then I'm like, what about me, guy? Because, I still consistently, even now that I'm not in the teams, if I go and look on Sully Gnome at like the viewership there, I'm still top of all of it. Like, I was promoting the most content, I was doing the best at the content, and I'm like, what about me? And they're like, well, nah, because we're more focused on esports. But they'd never say that. They'd be like, yeah, man, we'll get it, we'll do it, we'll definitely help you out. And I'm like, all right, cool, we'll stick here, we'll wait for it, we'll see. And they're like, you need to care about your content creators, not just these esports people, because at the end of the day, they're not getting these numbers. They're not having these audiences. And if they do, it's because they're getting like a raid from someone big or whatever the case may be. Whereas I'm actually sitting here and I'm holding the flag and I'm pushing the content and I'm pushing the brand and all that stuff. Like, I'm really trying here. And it just never came through the way that it wanted it to. And honestly, when we switched over to the Anchor Club, and we were able to get that team thanks to one of our good friends, to Synchro, when we got that thing, I was like, it's completely different now. Like, we all get around each other, we all support each other, everyone's in each other's streams. Yeah, like, such a different experience when you have people around you who actually want to see you grow, who are actually focused on what you're doing. And it's a real big pitfall to fall into, is that having this like aggressive back and forth with people, because honestly what I did is that after the team's situation had gone, I didn't unfollow anyone. I didn't stop any of the conversation. And then I went and I've been looking at it over the past couple of weeks, and I've noticed that the exact same stuff is happening. And then I went into my Twitter and into my Instagram, and I found that practically everybody from those teams no longer follows me. Like at all. Right. They no longer support what I'm doing. So I'm like, right, that's it. And I legitimately have dropped like 400 combined, maybe even 500 combined Twitter follows and Instagram follows from these people. Like, I've gone down from being almost even with follows versus followers to actually having quite a few more followers now than I have people I follow, because at the end of the day, like, seeing them push people who I know that I've done better than, and who I know that I've had a better run of, and who I know don't care as much as I cared, pisses me off. Yeah. And that put me in a really bad mood. Like, I'd get in there and I'd get on Twitter and I'd be like, man, I'm in a shit mood now. And it's only because I looked at these tweets from these people where they're like, hey, go check out this guy. He's playing Rocket League right now. And I'm like, this guy doesn't even care. He doesn't even have anything on his about me. There's not even anything about the team on his about me. He doesn't give a shit at all. And you're pushing him, yet when I was there, you did nothing. Like, it's really, really frustrating. It is, yeah. So at the end of the day, it was healthier for me just to get rid of him. Yeah. Just to push him out of the life completely and just move on. Because that's not healthy competition. That's holding a grudge against someone who, like, they shouldn't have done what they did. Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I can definitely understand, like, the feeling of just getting rid of those elements in your life. And it's the same with the Discords. Like, getting rid of the Discords. I'm sure you, me, everyone in the chat probably is almost at capacity with their Discords, because every time, you know, a streamer's like, hey man, join my Discord, and then you end up with 5,000 Discords. Like, all of a sudden, I don't even want to look at how many unread notifications I've got. Like, it would be in the thousands, absolutely. And it's like, well, what do I do with that? You know, what do I do? Am I ever going to visit these people? Probably not.
Nah, I've got heaps that I'm not in, and I'm just worried to leave them all because some of them have those bots turned on where they get a notification when someone leaves.
They get a notification. Why'd you leave me? Is it not good enough anymore?
I just like shove them down.
Like, yeah. I mean, I kind of put them in. I ended up putting a bunch in folders. And just leave those folders down below where like the main kind of ones that I go into are. Just because there's no other way that you can do it without being like a scumbag about it. You know what I mean?
That plays like
or at least being called one. Yeah, exactly right. Because you want to be able to support everyone, and I genuinely do. I just wish that everyone would just come to, you know, the couple of Discords that I'm in. You know, come to my Discord, go to Goer's Discord, and then we can all talk there. But I know that doesn't quite work that way, because obviously then you're not supporting other people. I'm
the same in real life. I'm like, oh, my friends can just come and visit me here, and then they're probably sitting at their house doing the same thing, and no one gets visited.
No, I'm like that with going out for drinks. You know, it's like, well, how about I have a barbecue and everyone comes to my house, and then when it's time to leave, you all go and I go to bed. I'm exactly the same with that, because honestly, it's better. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome there. Being in two Discords is something that would, like, I don't even have the brain for how I would be able to deal with that. Because I would feel like I wasn't supporting all the people, because every time I go to a stream, they're like, oh, and don't worry, you can come check out my Discord here. And I'm like, but why'd you say that though? Now I have to click on the button.
My advice would be to keep it as just two, if you can. And only join more Discords when you really, really know that you like really gel with that community, because that'd be great. I'd love to go back to two Discords and start from fresh and just not join some. We've got people use 9 and 6.
Jeepers, that to me almost unfathomable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 4, 5, 6, 7, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 54, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Holy cow.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. 89 Discords I'm currently in.
Peek behind the Warship's curtain. I've only got about 30, and I've been doing this for like 3 times as long as you.
Yep. I'm in 89 Discords with a total of something ridiculous as far as like unread notifications go. I don't even know how to check them all. Like, it is nothing but my whole world is just red lights everywhere, like red notifications everywhere here.
There's some people out there that have like a phobia about like the notifications. They got to tick them all off. They would have an absolute fit in on our Discords.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, you're right, absolutely. Does it support them if you're not engaging with them? I mean, yes and no. It can help. It can help with things like bolstering numbers, because a lot of people want to apply for Discord partnership. You have to have 500 viewers in there, or 500 people plus in there. So if it helps them with that, then by all means. But I can't really interact with 89 Discords. Like you know, it's just impossible. It is straight up impossible. But maybe in the same way that I deleted all of the people who weren't supporting me in my ventures today on Twitter and on Instagram, maybe we need to look at that the same way here, because at the end of the day, like, the real ones will support, you know. Every time I post a tweet, you respond, you know. Pretty much you're liking, you're retweeting, whatever it may be. So if you have a Discord, I'm in the Discord, you know. That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to the real people, They're the ones. Like, you know, like Wit. There's another person, another perfect example. That guy, he shows up everywhere. He's always there. He's in America right now, and it is stupid early in the morning, and he's at the gym, and he's still lurking in the stream right now.
Yeah.
Like,
that is
like he's a real one. Absolutely a real one. And that's one person that I'll always be in their stream every day. I'll always be in the Discord. I might never talk in there, but I'm there, like, because I know it helps. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to, as much as it's great to back everyone and support everyone, there is a point where you really need to surround yourself with the people who back you as well.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know, like, you really need to surround yourself with that. And it's amazing to.
I was going to say something along
it's
those
amazing
lines.
to get in with everyone else.
Like,
yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
I'm worried about leaving the 30 Discords that I'm in right now, but when you really have a look at it, like, I've got a Discord myself, but because I haven't really streamed in like 12 months and bounced around a little bit in that time, I have like maybe 2 people in there that like semi-often, every now and then, will write something in there about a certain topic. But so I've got like only about 60 or 70 people in my Discord. And a lot of those people are probably people that I'm also in their Discord, and there's no interaction between the two of us. So end of the day, you got to look at it like, I shouldn't feel bad about leaving their Discords when I haven't even heard from these people myself, like in the last sort of 12 months. So I think I'm going to go on a Discord. I'm going to go leaving some Discord soon. I think I'll wrap my head around it now, thinking about it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I have too, after this conversation today. Like, for me, my Discord, we have 589 people in it. So I have got a community in there. It's by nowhere near means the same level of my Twitch channel, for example. But there is still those 560 people. They're pretty much the people that support me. You know what I mean? Like, there are some who are there not to do so. There are some there just to support themselves. And that's kind of fine at the same time. As long as they support other people in the community, I'm fine with that. Yeah. But out of that 560 people, you know, we get a consistent amount of people in the streams. We get a consistent amount of people liking the Twitter, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's consistent and it's positive. But if I look at some of these other channels, like, they don't come to me. Yeah. They don't talk in mine. So why am I still in there? Oh. And that was my same point that I made with Twitter, you know? Like, Twitter even tells you. Like, Twitter says follows you. And if it doesn't say follow you anymore, if you're not someone I look up to, and if you don't say follows you next to your name, best believe you're not followed by me anymore. Yeah. Like, if you've followed me and then unfollowed me so that you have some kind of imaginary bullshit clout, then you're done. Like, I'm not there for that. I'm here. I'm getting around the people who get around me now. And that's literally all we do. True. Because at the end of the day, those people will support you and you support them, and everybody has a good time. That's it. All right, we're getting the boots out, guys. We're going to get the boots out on our Twitters and our Discords, and everyone's getting the boot. I mean, you know, but that being said, it's like the real ones, they'll always be there. Yeah. See, I've got to a point now where I notice a lot of wrestling people had unfollowed me. And these are people that I've known for 15 years. And I'm like, right, well, that's it. This shows me that all you ever cared about was what I could do for you in the wrestling ring. So absolutely, you're out. You're done. We're done. I don't need to follow that kind of negativity. And it's exactly what you were saying before about the positive and the negative, is that I have no need for that negativity in my life. This is about being positive and growth, and we can all win if we all work together. And y'all are still sitting here with these grudges and bullshit that doesn't matter, and it shows. Y'all look real jealous right now, and it's kind of gross. Like, it's kind of usy and kind of disgusting. Like, pretty much. I'm just not here for it. It's the type of culture that doesn't work when you're trying to make it in, like, the streaming content creation. It's the same sort of follow for follow mentality that doesn't work, and people don't understand. Yep. I don't know why. I don't know where these people are getting their advice from. It's definitely not Streamaholics. If you see anyone out there in the Twitter sphere chat talking about follow for follows and some other bullshit, point them in our direction. Tell them about Streamaholics on a Friday night. We'll sort them out. Absolutely. Just looking for another tweet here that we can get into. While
Dad's in the chat. I think I'll get to his one and maybe see what you think about his.
Do it.
Bald Aussie Dad. I struggle with being able to just let it be. I always start out pumped up and enthused, loving the ideas, but never really happy with the end product, so never hit the go live or upload buttons. I've got about 30 unposted projects.
Yeah, I mean, we've had brief discussions about this on my Discord, actually, from Dad, about getting around the concept of like not quite sure what you're going to do and not sure if people will respond to it and if they'll enjoy it. You know, like he had a couple of really cool ideas, like an Ask Dad kind of concept where he would talk about like, you know, grumpy shit, like, you know, you know, like fun though, but like fun and like completely unique and different and a really, really cool idea. But then obviously pulling the trigger is the hard part, you know, like knowing what the thing that you need to do to make it work is difficult. And I've had this too, like 100%. Like at the moment, I'm trying to work on a hype train for my streams. And because as everyone who is in here knows, my streams are ridiculous. Like they're very loud and very out there and all that kind of stuff. But I'm struggling to find the right thing for that. And it really is setting me off. Like I sit there and like, right, let's go, got a great idea, let's every time we get a hype train, get on the beers will play and I'll vortex a beer or something, and at the same time beers will appear everywhere, and then I sit down to do it and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. And that mindset is fear of rejection. It is fear that what your effort that you put in won't be received in a positive way. It is 1,000,000% that. It is my fear saying, all right, so here's my idea. What about if they hate it? What about if they don't like what I do? What, they're going to laugh at me or they're going to leave? Is that what's going to happen? But you got to back yourself. Like, absolutely back yourself. Because nobody's going to back anybody who doesn't believe in themselves. They just won't. Like that's big facts. If they see someone, and this goes down to confidence in streaming, self-worth, all the points we brought up earlier in stream, is that if you come to a stream and you're like, hey man, how you doing? You having a good night tonight? Thank you so much for being here. People will leave because you're not backing yourself. But if you come in here and you're like, hello everybody, it's me, Warship, and welcome to the stream. How you doing? How was your day? What are we doing today? I don't know. You know, like if you really do back yourself on stream and really do give that energy, and people see it and they're like, yeah, this guy's going. Like, you know, like for me, that to me is what sets what I do apart, because it gives me that energy and that confidence, and those people are like, what's happening here? You know, like what is this stream even about? I don't understand what's happening. All I know is that there's this guy who wiggles his finger in his pants hole, and I don't get anything else at all.
Wait, that's one of your memes that pops up, right? You don't. That's not okay.
But like the whole thing is just like there's so much like to be said for backing your own play. There's so much to be said for saying, yes, you know what? This will work. Not this might work, not anything like that. But yes, what I do here will be cool. And people will think it's awesome. And let's do it, you know? Like there's so much to be said for that. And I know that it's hard. I know that you sit there in front of the computer and you're like, all right, here's my idea. Here's another idea. Here's another idea. What do I do? I know that's hard. Even if it fails, do another. Try again.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the only real failure is doing nothing. Like, the only real failure in general when it comes to streaming is that you do nothing. It's super important. Yeah.
That's kind of what I end up doing, is nothing a lot of the time. Like, especially over the last 12 months since I've been having my break. Like, I've come across so many different ideas to bring back my content, like a direction for my content, kind of like its niche or its theme. And I've kind of done the same thing. I think I said this on Twitter on that same post. Like, my wife over the last 3 years has spent, even when I was doing the Radman thing, I was still had the same thing. Like, I just don't know where I've got this idea for the Radman and where the character's got to go. But then I've got this other idea over here, and that contradicts that idea, and so I end up just not doing it a lot of the time. And since I've been having my break for the last sort of 12 months and trying to work out how to attack back into it, I've got the same thing. I like all these different ideas about how I'm doing the you know, the biggest struggle of all was like I'm rebranding as Lukey instead of Radman to begin with. And my ideas will change on a weekly basis. Like now I'm probably going to go back to some sort of a Radman thing instead of a Lukey. Or, you know, one of my other ideas is like I used to play several characters on stream before. Radman was the most prolific one, but there was another character that was like a villain character that I played as well. And so I've got these ideas of like, oh man, should I keep the Lukey element and also somehow add in there some way to be Radman and then the villain, and now I'm Lukey? I don't know. I think Radman will be the one that pops off more. I'm just going to do Radman. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'll be like, no, I don't want to do Radman anymore. And like my friend with the wrestling thing, I'm like, well, if he's not going to play wrestling, I like wrestling, I'll just go play wrestling then if people are looking for it. I'll just go. If he doesn't want the 300 plus viewers, I'll just go back to Facebook and play wrestling. I love wrestling. I was starting to come up with ideas of like, I always thought it'd be really cool to have some sort of a creator wrestler league going on, but in a stream. The same thing that you were talking about with commentary and everything, where people could actually join and create their wrestlers and do their own promos and stuff somehow. I was trying to work it all out. I'm like, that's a really, really good idea. I want to do that one. And then there was, I started getting into Elite Dangerous on Friday nights on Goa, and that was starting to pop off a little while ago. So I started like, I'm going to create some sort of a space themed stream, and everyone's going to watch me play Elite Dangerous every week. Like, I don't end up doing any of these ideas because the week will come past. I'll be talking to my wife about, I'm going to do this idea. And she'll be like, why don't you just go and do the idea, please? Like, stop telling me about all the ideas you've got and just, that's good. Go do that idea, please. Just do the idea. And I'll be like, a couple of days later, I'll be like, no, I think I've changed my idea now because I'm not sure if this other idea I've got's better. So mine are more like whole sort of full-on directions for my content, not just like scenes or whatever. Like I'll still have the same thing about certain things that I want to create for my stream, but in terms of entire directions for my content, I really struggle with. And I have over the last few months. Like I'm pretty much decided that I'm going to do Radman again because I just miss, although it was a pain to, because of the stuff I was going through outside of my stream, to be the hype man and be Radman. I'm loving being myself and talking as myself, but I'm also really, really missing the entertainment value and the hype stuff and the fun that I had dressed up as a character and it just being a bloody clown on stream. But then I'm like, am I not hyped enough, like as Radman, because of my own personality? But then I'm doing it right now. Like, should I dress up as this clown character, but then just be really, really dry? Would that be good? That'd be entertaining. It's like, I don't really know.
I can see you not backing yourself. You know, I can see you not backing yourself right now, even. And like, let me just say that there is nothing wrong with playing a character on stream. Like, there is nothing wrong with it at all. There is nothing wrong with being like different and fun and unique and doing something completely different on stream. Like it really, really doesn't matter. Like, you know, like, or the worst that can happen at all with all of this, the absolute worst, is that you cannot succeed at it and you have to try again. Like there's literally nothing that is a problem with just experimenting. There's nothing wrong with just trying a thing out and seeing how it works. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work, what have you lost? Nothing. Like, you've lost nothing at all. You've lost time, and if you're really unlucky, maybe one person won't be there next time because they saw it and they're like, oh, like, what's this? But that's the worst case scenario. Most likely, especially if you're being some sort of like dickhead on stream, they'll love you for it and they'll ask you to pull stupid faces. They'll ask you to do like this, like all the time on stream, and it'll become a niche that you can't get away from no matter what you do. And that's honestly the worst thing that can come from all of it. So there's nothing wrong with just having a go. Like, there's nothing wrong with just trying something
Especially
out.
When you're
Half of the stuff that I do on stream, well, yeah. Like,
anything would be
honestly,
good.
Well, that's it. The first step is the hardest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really, really is. And so many people are like, I didn't even control the things that I just showed on stream there. Like the Jalian, like he appeared because of the chat, like out of nowhere. And we were having a conversation once after stream, and that's what brought on the seduction, because it purely came from like an after stream conversation. And again, that's completely different too. You know, like it's not something that I ever set out to do, but now that I've done it, like people respond to it. It's me looking dumb. And in fact, we're probably going to move towards me actually getting a wig like this and doing it like a stream like this for reals. Like,
yeah.
But am I embarrassed about it? No. Am I scared of it? Not really. Like, what's the worst that can happen? People come on, they're like, oh, look at you dressed up in a wig. Like, oh, what are you? And I'm like, what does that matter? It doesn't matter at all. And you're being a bigot. Like, it will absolutely happen. But at the same time, does it worry me? No.
So many times when you're dressed up in spandex, like a full costume, like head to toe spandex suit, people will jump in and go, well, what the fuck are you wearing? And I'm like,
yeah,
full spandex suit, mate. And they'll be like, because I'm a superhero, whatever the spiel was. And they'll be like, oh, this is stupid, or whatever the comment was that would try and bring me down from it. Like, well, who's the bigger idiot? Because you're the one that's sitting here watching it. Like, you could be watching literally anything else in the world right now, but I've got you hooked in my stream watching me sitting here in spandex and my underwear. Like, so welcome to the party, mate.
Yep, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I love about my mod team, is because those people don't last. You know, like they'll come in and they'll either be completely destroyed straight off the bat by people who are just in the stream watching, like my friends, who'll be just like, what are you even talking about, you stupid person? Or the second option is they'll be banned pretty quickly, or the third option is they stay for a bit, they laugh about it, they get around it, they have a good time, and then we've got them for life. Like, the worst thing that you can do is not do anything. The worst thing that you can ever do is have inaction. And that goes to you, that goes to Bald Aussie Dad, that goes to everybody who's sitting there and they're like, man, I need to just pull the trigger on something. Here's my advice. Do it now.
Just do it.
Not later, just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Make them real. You know, like legitimately, just do it. The worst thing that can happen, they don't like it. That's fine. Do something different. But try. Try for you, because you know what? You're good at this. Back yourself, because you know what? You deserve it. Like, don't ever think you don't. You know what I mean? Like don't ever think you don't deserve it. Yeah. Because you do.
I reckon do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, exactly right. Do or do not. There is no try. And in fact, the do not's the worst part. Absolutely the worst part, because all you can do is fall over. And then what do you do when you fall over? You stand back up again. Like, nothing that you do on stream is going to kill you. Nothing you do on stream is going to ruin your career on stream. Like, just pick yourself up and try again. That's honestly it. That's really the message. Yeah.
Okay, so
how are we going?
Well, there's plenty of other things we can get to. They're all kind of really tie into the same thing. That's about creative blocks. That's pretty much the same thing. Confidence, self-worth. We talked about that one. I think we're done on these.
Yeah,
really.
Absolutely. Cool.
Finding time to get it all done from Age of Camlenity.
That's
too
the worst
many ideas and not enough time to dedicate to them.
That's the worst one. That's straight up the worst one. I hate that one.
It's kind of the opposite of what we were just talking about. Like, you've got all the ideas, but don't have the time to do it.
That's me. Like that one is me.
Yeah.
So because I'll do anything. You put things in front of me and I'll do them. Like especially with a baby less than 20 days away, pretty much now 23 days away. You put something in front of me along with a cup of buck, and I will do it. You want me to eat fire on stream? Sure, let's go. I don't know how to, but we'll try. Like whatever it is, we'll do it. Like we'll do it. Like I am more than happy, but what I'm saying is, as far as time goes, no chance. Like trying to make this hype train thing is so intense. There's so much to it, all in Touch Portal. At the same time, trying to figure out what do I do when people raid? Because at the moment, my raid notification's kind of cool, but it needs work, and you need to hook people at the very start. Trying to find time to do anything is just shit. Like, and then on top of that, YouTube videos, podcasts, mornings on Goa, whatever it is, it's like you have a lot of time, and then I sit down in front of the computer and then realize, no, you don't, Shippy. You have no time. You have no time at all. I've been dodging a logo design for one of my friends for about 2 weeks, and I only just got in there and done it today because I just didn't have time to get in front of the computer. I get in and I do my stream. Some days I don't get into the computer room until like 9:15, and I start streaming at 9:30, and I don't know what I'm playing. Like there are times where that will absolutely happen, but I have to stream. So yeah, time is huge. Time management is ridiculous. Having any kind of, I don't understand how people do it. I assume, my full assumption here is that everybody has sticky taped their stream together, just like me, except they've made it so that you can't quite see the seams. Yeah. Like I'm fully confident that nobody actually has a plan at all.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but yeah, I've never encountered it ever. Because I just don't have the time to get around any of it. I don't. Whether I'm upgrading my own stream, helping others, in everyone's streams to watch, to support, in Discord streams, trying to build an office, dealing with baby and real life stuff, whatever it is, there's not enough hours in the day. And that's why I get like
Definitely.
4 hours sleep a night. Like,
yeah, and that's why. And that's like an insight to people out there who, like for myself, like I don't have any time during the daytime or anything. Like it's full on work. It's the 4 kids that still live at home when I get home, if I get home on time, and then there's, you got to spend time with your wife as well. Like there's a lot of, but you have to. There is a sacrifice there for your content, and right now I'm spending more. Actually, my wife's doing the content too, so it's like there probably is an opportunity there for me to do some stuff. It's more a mindset thing at the moment. I'm kind of just waiting for things to happen at the moment, or waiting for. Well, to be honest, I'm waiting for actual things to arrive here before I can take the next step and order the next thing, because I need certain things in my possession for me to know what to order next, if you know what I mean, for my costumes and stuff. So that's taking away a lot of stuff, a lot of opportunity for me.
Do you really though?
No.
Or are you holding off?
No, what I need, like my suit should be here soon. I think I spoke about it last week. My suit was stuck in customs. That's should have left now. Well, side note, my new Radman suit. It's not the suit. It's just the undersuit. Let's say that. It's not the actual costume. It's the under costume. And it was stuck in customs, and I ended up having to fork out another $280 to get it out of customs, which I wasn't expecting. So I should have that soon, and then I can start adding things to it. But yeah, no. So I've got to take me back to when I was actually streaming probably to answer this properly. But yeah, finding time to get it all done. The things that I struggled with a full-time job, like that's why I only did 2 nights a week. And so what I used to do is I had 2 scheduled nights a week, because I wouldn't really do bonus streams or any sort of content that wasn't scheduled live content. I'd make sure that people knew exactly when I was going to be on what particular nights. And if I had time late at night, say back in those days, say my wife would have been working before our last bub came along, so she would go to bed at like 10 o'clock. So then I would be out to my computer toying around with stuff. But yeah, to not have the time to do it is a real struggle, because you never, I don't know about, like you never, like I think you just touched on it, you never have enough time to do everything that you want to do. because if you've got 2 hours, you want 4. If you've got 4 hours, you want 6. Like there's always something to do when it comes to creating stuff. I feel. I don't think that's the thing that I'll ever get on top of.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally get it. Like I totally understand it. But what my question is there any reason you can't put like a door behind you in your stream, and then when your stuff arrives, you're like, stuff this. I'm not feeling it today, but I got someone who would do, and then you go through your door and you cut scene to coming back out, and then you got the outfit on. Like,
yeah, you know what
I mean? Like,
funny you should say that. Before, when I love like, so to take you behind the scenes, I have already started creating scenes a while back where I would. This is if I went with this option, so I would start as Lukey, and then I need like this is the way my brain works. I've got the idea of like I've got the scenes all plotted out where there's a like you've seen the Deadpool movie where he goes there's the old lady getting robbed and he goes into the phone booth and his bum silhouette and his bum's up against the screen. And he takes ages to get dressed, and then by the time he comes out, the thing's already finished. So I've got scenes where I've made it so that I could be a silhouette in a phone booth on a street corner, so I could become Radman during a stream and then come back out again. The only problem is that I couldn't do. I used to glue the mask to my head and paint the eyes and everything. It was a mask that didn't have straps. It was full on cosplay thing. That I probably couldn't do. And then is it better to just be a superhero where my stream is superhero's finished his 9 to 5 and now he's having a beer and playing video games? But
so what you would do is you record 5 minutes as if it's a video, right? And then you play that whole video from the recording through to transforming, and then you're not actually streaming until after that 5 minutes expires, and you have the costume on the whole time.
Definitely that.
So, like, you know, that's a way around it. Even less than 5 minutes, because if you're talking to people, or if you're not talking to people who are coming in, you're going to look like it's fake anyway. You know what I mean? So, like, you wouldn't be able to spend like an extended period of time, but you could spend like a short amount of time, like doing the intros on the day that you get it. You know what I mean? Like, once you've got it in there and everything, you like start in. You're like, "Hello, everybody, it's me, Lukey." Blah 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 blah. You know, I'm actually not feeling this today, guys. I'm really, really sorry. I'll get to your messages in just a second, but I'm not feeling this. Give me a second. I need to do something I haven't done for a very long time. And then you sod off and then play the thing. And
do you mean like the first time he reappears, or are you talking about? Is that an idea you did for every stream? Just the first one? No.
So you could do that on the first one, and then you could begin it. You could be like, you could sit down and come in, and like the video shows you sitting down. You're like, oh, I'm so tired from work. Whatever it is, give me a tick. And you could make like a whole meme about that. You could make like a whole like have a catchphrase in there where you're like, whatever you say is the thing you say, and that's the thing that makes you leave, and then transform, and then you show back up and you're back again. Like, that'd be kind of cool, like, really unique. And the great thing about that is you could start streaming tomorrow and not do it until such time as it first arrives back.
I see what you're saying.
You know, like
I actually thought about it this week. I thought like I really want to start doing streams before that all happens. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's just
absolutely.
about the things right now for me personally is, am I rebranding or am I not? Do I play Lukey and Radman, or am I just Radman?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm kind of up in the air with at the moment. I know he's appearing at some point. I just don't know whether I'm going to do the both or not. That's the part that
I mean, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. We could talk about it forever because I literally think about it forever, so...
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you obviously have the motivation, and this goes out to everyone else in the stream as well. You know, like all of this does. Like is that you clearly have the motivation, you clearly have the ideas, execute them. Like honestly, just pull the trigger, because the longer you hold that trigger, what that is more time for someone else to pull the trigger before you. You know, like someone else to do the exact same thing you're about to do. How many opportunities in your life have you missed out on because you had a banger of an idea and you didn't act on it? You know what I mean? Like how many times has my dad told me that he invented something only to have it appear for real?
You know,
like yeah. That's what I'm saying. You know, he's like, oh man, I would have invented Vegemite if only someone didn't do it before me. You know, things like that. Like, you know, and that's the reality is that we all feel that way. It's not just dads. One day you realize that you're doing it too. So instead of shitting, get off the pot. You know,
yeah,
like get off and go. That's what I'm gonna. That's what I'm saying.
Worry now that you mention it, because what have we got here now? Like, there's 15 people in chat, so now there's going to be 15 superheroes on Twitch next week. So
yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I might even do it. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, take the time, do the thing, whatever it is. If it's being a grumpy bastard on stream, do it. Go do it tomorrow. Do it later on. You've had 6 beers already. Go do it now. Like, you know, no matter what it is, go do it. Honestly, don't hold back, because the only person you're going to let down is yourself. And the only time that you're going to fail is if you do nothing. And I've said that a couple of times here tonight because it's true. Like, you can manifest your own things now. Do your own things, you know. And if they don't work, then they don't work. You lose nothing. You lose nothing at all, except for time. And that's if you spend time wasting not doing the thing. Like, that's it.
Kai said,
that's probably.
Kai just said in chat, yeah, but what if you have valid reasons for not being able to do something? So
I mean, obviously you have extenuating circumstances. Yeah. Like you have extenuating circumstances right now. It's a good workaround. I mean, if you have the facility to be here, then you probably have a phone. I mean, there's no reason you could not do some kind of IRL stream. You know what I mean? Like, in the interim, you know, walk around, show your life, record videos for YouTube, talking about your experiences, talking about what has brought you to here. Because I know that you've got a story right now. I know that you've got a story as a creator. You've got a lot of stuff that you can speak about right now that people would be interested in seeing. You're the master of your own destiny. You could easily do that. You could easily do that right now. I know it might be difficult.
The reality is that you're going to have to do that extra stuff outside of a stream once you start anyway. So
yeah, exactly right. So make a start.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, like, more your game dev stuff, half to do. Oh yeah, obviously, when it comes to game dev stuff, then we can't change that at all. But you know, all I can suggest is, you know, like, you've got ideas, you know, you've got plans for what you're doing. Make sure they're all written out. Make sure you've got it all projected and it's right in front of you. Keep conversations going between you and other developers. Talk to people who can help with assets. You know, keep yourself ahead of the curve so that when you get a chance to sit down in front of a computer, you got stuff to do again. You know what I mean? Like, you can do stuff again. Like, as soon as you're ready to go. Don't wait. Don't sit on those ideas now. You know, don't sit on them right now. Get ready for them.
Yeah, there's always some sort of creating or planning you can be doing in the background, I guess, and that kind of never ends. I guess if you, I don't know much about game developing, but I'm assuming that a lot of it's, or a big part of that is story based as well. So, you know, you can always be taking notes and writing stories and getting on with that side of things, coming up with the brainstorming parts of the ideas or the things that you know you're going to implement in the game in developing it. There's always things that you can be doing there, I guess. Researching.
Absolutely.
Looking at other content, trying to find inspiration anywhere, really. Because the game that you've got in your head right now, guarantee it's not going to be the game exactly how you imagine it now when it finally comes out. So, get creative and get some inspiration. Try and find that inspiration. More inspiration.
Absolutely.
Keep writing stuff.
Absolutely. Honestly, like, when you have all the stuff in front of you again and you can go, you'll feel a lot better if you've got a little bit more waiting for you there. And I guess, like, you know, to wrap up what we've been saying this whole time, it was not about what Twitch can do to help smaller streamers, the smaller creators. It's about what, as a smaller creator and as a smaller streamer, you can do to help yourself. And that is by erasing the roadblocks in your mind. It is by trying things and failing sometimes, but trying things. It is about backing yourself. It is about making sure that you're doing the most you can to be as unique as you can. It is by following through, because I tell you one thing, if I had followed through with content creation when I had the idea to do it, I'd be like 7 years in right now, and I'm only 12 months in as we speak. Back yourself, or be prepared to be way, way further behind than you'd like to be. Because honestly, you can do it. I believe in you. Lukey believes in you. Like, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. But you can't do it if you don't do anything about it now. Like, you can't. That's the reality. You won't do it now, then you won't do it. So do it. Please do it. Please do it so I can see it, so I can celebrate it, so we can have fun with it together. And then obviously, Kaiju, please do it so I can do voice work for it.
There you go. There's your motivation. I'll just end it with one quote that just popped into my head that I use quite often, actually, so I'm surprised I didn't already bring it out. I think it's from Gary V, and it's when people ask him how he's got so successful, he always answers with, because I've failed a lot. And I think that's what it's all about. Failing, there's lessons in every failure.
Absolutely.
And successes in things that you tried that work out. And you'll never know if you don't do it.
Absolutely. And, you know, with that in mind, Lukey, where can the people find you?
Well, thanks for asking. Everyone can find me at Lukey Bangerz with a Z, because I'm cool. On all of the things. On Twitter, I'm most active on. My Twitch is also Lukey Bangerz. Facebook, Lukey Bangerz. You'll find me in the Discord at Lukey Bangerz in there as well. Basically, if you type in Lukey Bangerz on any of the major platforms, Instagram, it's across the board Lukey Bangerz with a Z, because I'm cool. Warship, where can they find you?
Well, I'm glad you asked. And the reason, by the way, that I asked you is so that people can find you and they can watch as you do the things you're going to be doing really soon, not later on. Yes, that's what will be happening. But for me, guys, you can find me almost everywhere as The Warship, except for stupid Twitter, where they still won't give me The Warship, even though the person who last posted 9 years ago. There, you can find me at _Warship. Very, very unfortunate, but I am across the main platforms. I do stream 5 nights a week on Twitch. You can find me there at twitch.tv/The Warship. And I do also a morning segment on Tuesdays right here on Game On Australia. And that is my best spiel to end the show with. So thank you very much for watching there. Thank you very much there, Lukey.
Thanks, everyone.
I believe you'll be on afterwards.
Yes, I'll be doing an after show now, kind of for the next sort of 50 minutes. If anyone wants to hang around and chat, I can delve more into what's happening in chat tonight. And other than that, guys, I hope we'll see you next Friday at 6 p.m. West Australian Standard Time. How do you do Australian Western Standard Time? 6 p.m. every Friday.
AWST. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll hand it over to you now, Lukey. Thank you for being here for me, and everyone else. See you later.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
Thank you so much for stopping by to watch this video. If you like what you've seen, why not check out this video here? Or if you really like us, drop us a subscribe. And don't forget to like and comment as well. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.